So I don't even have a VR setup. I played Super Hot one time at a friend's house and was blown away, but I haven't touched a headset since then. Recently though, I've been seeing a lot of very sick looking VR games that I'd love to play one day. So if you want to contribute to that fund, I do have a Patreon page, as well as super chats here on YouTube. Okay, let's talk about some games. First up is UNDERDOGS, releasing very soon on January 25th. And the tagline is Underground Mech Fights. Wrap yourself in 5 tons of metal and go smashing through a dark scene of full-on metal-on-metal violence. So I'm very jealous of all of you who get to play that because it sounds awesome. There actually seem to be quite a few VR mech games, but this one stands out to me most because of these comic book style cutscenes and this really dingy, desperate atmosphere. This is a roguelike with over 100 items to collect, like power tools that you can use to customize your mech. You can also hire hackers and other people to mess with your enemies and their mechs as you claw your way up the food chain. Next up is Sushi Ben, which I actually will be able to play later this year because it's coming to Steam in both VR and regular modes. This one is already out on the Quest store and I've been following it for a while now because, well, just look at it. It has these dynamic 3D manga panels, a goofy story, and is fully voiced in Japanese. The premise is that you're trying to save your favorite sushi restaurant from going out of business by convincing the local townspeople to eat there with you. There are also tons of side activities, fishing, bug catching, dog walking, and ghost hunting. Sushi Ben just looks completely fresh, and out of all the games on this list, it's the one I'd most want to come to flat screens, so I'm very happy that it is. How about a little cyberpunk? Lo-Fi is actually also releasing in both standard and VR modes, no date announced yet. This one seems to be super ambitious in its scope, but hey, don't knock it till you try it, right? I'm definitely most interested in kind of just flying around, but it looks like you will have the freedom to choose how you spend your time. You play as a sheriff in a world where most of the population lives inside a VR simulation. Those that don't, the poor and the criminals, are the ones that you're left to deal with. So you can patrol the skies handing out tickets, or just hang out in the arcade and the casino. How you earn and spend your credits is up to you. I also do want to mention that probably the first game I would play if I got a headset has to be Half-Life Alyx, but I don't think I need to include a section on that one. Or maybe Power Wash Simulator? Stepping away from the neon lights and into the dusty wasteland of The Burst, this is a high-speed shooter that takes place on a desert prison planet. The game has a demo up on Steam, and it's coming out soon in Q2 of 2024. It's your job to stop a brewing rebellion by any means necessary and escape before it's too late. The game has tons of mobility options like wall running, rail surfing, and a hook, which can be used in a variety of ways, from traversal to puzzles to combat. There's also a lot of interactivity with the environment, so if you run out of ammo, you can still throw junk at your enemies and make a quick getaway. I'd probably be pretty bad at this game since it does require a lot of aiming, but I don't know, maybe it's easier in VR than it is with a mouse. And finally, we have Vampire the Masquerade Justice, which is already out for Quest and PS5, and it's coming to Steam on February 6th. I'm not at all familiar with the Vampire the Masquerade series. I do know the second installment is releasing this year, but the standalone VR title looks tons of fun and reminds me a bit of Dishonored. You're a vampire, so you'll be doing a lot of stalking, persuading, and blood drinking as you prowl the streets of Venice. I'm not typically that great at stealth games, but it looks like you can take a more head-on approach too. And I love how even though the game is dark, it's also still pretty colorful and visually distinct. And that does it for my VR wishlist. It's almost a good thing I can't play these games because I already have so many flat games I'm looking forward to. Like, for example, these ones.